Next office, Maura Welch.
So I'm a second year, but I will be back next year with all the first years. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the adventures that my family has gone on and how that shaped my interest in public policy, and then also just to show you some really awkward family photos that you'll see throughout the presentation. So first, it's a bit blurry, but just to introduce you, this is my mom. My mom grew up in East Chicago, which is a suburb in northern Indiana. In a working class family, and when she graduated from high school, she took a really big leap and decided to move to Bolivia, where she lived for a year. And this was the first time she really met a lot of people outside of the country, and then traveled back overland to Chicago and met a ton of people that way and learned Spanish. So after that, she decided that she really wanted to travel all around the world. So she worked for 2 years, earned $5,000, and then spent the next 2 years living on about $10 a day, traveling around the whole world. So she went pretty much everywhere. She's way cooler than I am. She realized that she had never thought about going to college. No one in her family had gone to college. But she learned a lot about public health while she was traveling and really wanted to pursue a career in that. So she came back, went to college, went on to get her PhD at Syracuse University, which is Syracuse is where I'm from, in upstate New York. And her PhD brought her to Peru, where she did her field work. And so one thing that's really cool about my mom is she's a really independent feminist, and she decided that she never knew if she was going to get married, but wanted to have a baby by the age of 30. So as you can see here she is with my little sister, Kusi. So she adopted my sister before she met my dad when she was 28 and doing her PhD in Peru. So she came back with my sister, and this is just a picture of her current day. So she's a sociology professor in upstate New York, concentrates in children and human rights. She's still really crazy and adventurous. For her 60th birthday, we got her skydiving, so here, you can chat with her about that. She's awesome. So then she did end up meeting my dad, so a couple of years, so she moved back to Syracuse, started working on her PhD more, and they both worked for an organization called Catholic Charities. And so my dad is not quite as adventurous as my mom. He would stay on the couch in Syracuse his whole life if he could. But one thing that he really taught us was just to care a lot about your community. So my dad worked for Catholic Charities for over 45 years. So he ran all of the homeless shelters, soup kitchens, refugee resettlement programs in upstate New York. And this was a really, really big part of our upbringing. So my mom kind of brought that adventurous spirit, and then my dad really brought that caring about your community. And so in the next slide, you'll see that we have my sister, Kusi, who's 3 years older than me. And then my parents got married shortly after that, had me and then my 2 younger brothers, Dan and Nick. We were pretty cute kids. And so we really had, all of us were instilled that kind of sense of adventure. So I'm going to walk through some of those different adventures that we went through as kids. So my parents thought it would be an awesome idea to take 4 kids in a minivan and drive from Syracuse, New York to Tijuana, Mexico. Crazy 2 months. We camped the whole way and worked at different soup kitchens and homeless shelters all along the way of different people my parents knew. Another big part of our childhood, I mentioned my dad worked for Catholic Charities. You may not know, but Syracuse, New York has the 3rd largest refugee population per population of a city, which is weird because it's also the snowiest city in the country, so there's something wrong there. But we grew up teaching English and helping set up apartments and doing a lot of that stuff. So then one quick story about myself is when I was 11 years old and in 5th grade, my dad came up to me and said, hey, there's this super cool conference at the United Nations. I can put you on a Greyhound bus. You can get there in 5 hours with a couple high school students. Do you want to go? I said yes because I was 11 and kind of crazy that my parents let me do that. So I went down to New York, met 300 youth from all around the country who were doing really cool stuff. And so I came back to Syracuse, kind of realized, why can't I also be doing things related to youth empowerment and education? So I joined an organization called Free the Children, which does a lot of work around education, child labor, both globally but then in your community. And so this kind of led me on a lot of my own adventures. So when I was in 6th grade, so a year later, I brought my dad with me, so I prompted this adventure, to go on a trip to the Mexican-American border to look at the effects of free trade on the Mexican side on labor conditions. And so I was 12 at the time, and we did a lot of different interviews and things like that, and helped contribute to a book called Border Witness. And so that was great father-daughter bonding activities, not normal, but, and then I got to do other really cool stuff. So I attended, there's something called the Children's World Congress on Child Labor, where people from all over the world go. It was in Florence, Italy when I was in 9th grade. Got to go there, meet awesome people, got to hang out with people like Hillary Clinton. And then probably one of the coolest adventures I went on was my 11th grade year. My mom had always told me from her 2 years of traveling that India was her favorite country in the world. So she really encouraged me to spend my 11th grade year abroad in India. So I spent 12 months. The photo's kind of small, but you can see I kind of stand out as like the white redhead among an all-girls Indian school, so that was a bit different. But I think the best adventure I ever went on was in college. Sorry they're all blurry, but this is my sister here. We went back to Peru to the orphanage that she would have lived in. And taught English and I ended up coaching soccer because I'm not that good of an English teacher. I did a lot of soccer coaching, she did the teaching. So this is just coming back to my siblings. So I think all of these adventures and all these trips really had a big, profound impact on us. My sister is actually an English as a second language teacher now. My brother Danny's a 6th grade teacher. My brother Nick works in finance. He's kind of the crazy one, so we don't know what happened to him. But he's great. He's really nice to and then this is actually at my sister's wedding over here. So she recently got married a little over a year ago. One quick fun fact, she actually has a twin brother that was adopted by another family and lives in Florida. So we also stay in touch with him as well. But all this to say, I think the most important thing that I learned through all of these trips is that I really find the most happiness in being around people who want to change their community and are really excited about that. And I think that's what's made me so happy at Harris. So I just wanted to thank all of you, especially the second years who are graduating. Probably my mom, just because she's a bit more adventurous and wanting to try new things. My dad kind of wants those naps in the hotel room. So my mom, we're better travel partners. That's actually awesome.
Where did you learn to play soccer?
Actually, with my brothers, I think I've been playing since I was 3 years old. So yes, I've been playing my whole life.
Where has your mom been at your time you chose?
She spent a lot of time in Nepal. Actually, my parents differ because my dad is retired and my mom's not, and my mom wants to retire to Nepal and my dad wants to retire to Syracuse, New York. No intention of splitting up, but they might just do retirement. We don't know. We have some time to figure it out, but yes, that's the one place that everyone can.
What do you want to do with the dual degree? Do you know?
Great question. Still working on that one. No, I think for me, one of the reasons I came to Harris is I had a big international focus, both in my undergrad and before going to undergrad, and so I want to transition to more local, so more close to what my dad had done his whole life. So I'm really interested in doing stuff specifically in Chicago around, not quite sure exactly what, but workforce development and thinking about how to get more people into the workforce.
Would you adopt a Peruvian girl?
wanted to have a baby by the age of 30, and me and my sister would be like, oh yeah, like it's like a 5-year-old. Of course you don't have a baby. And now I'm 28, I'm like, that's the most insane thing.